live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game.
Come on!
And then there were two. 49ers, Chiefs, round 2, 4 years later. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Pregame Show, Joe Spadoni. And for the next hour, it's all about you, as it always is. The phone number, 888-957-9570. Call or text said phone number to the Comcast Business text line. Also, we are streaming live on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Go ahead and search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe, ring that bell. It's going to be a banner day. Are we going to break numbers today, Sam? Maybe. He shrugs. Sam's fired up. He was at the game last night. Which game? No, I'm not talking about whatever basketball game, anything, any Cal game. Cal basketball? No. I don't even know if they're playing. Talking 49ers, Lions, Levi Stadium. A lot of blue. I wasn't expecting to see that many Lions fans. I just saw it on my couch, too. You can hear it. And Detroit and Dan Campbell and that running game of Montgomery and Gibbs came out and punched the Niners in the teeth to the tune of a 24-7 lead at halftime. And it looked desperate. You know, in hindsight, the Niners holding the Lions to that field goal before the end of the half was massive. Absolutely massive. Because if it was 28-7, that might have been night-night. It might have been. And Dan Campbell, you know, we were talking a lot last week about the coaching matchup, and it was fascinating. Who's going to blink first? Who's going to make the mistake? You know, Kyle Shanahan's been known to get tight in big games in his career. We haven't seen Dan Campbell other than the last 2 playoff games, and everything was going right for them. But now they're on the road. They're the underdog. It's the NFC Championship game. And they were the ones imposing their will. They're the ones that got the big lead. What happens? Niners get the ball back, start of the third, drive down, stalled out. They get the field goal. Detroit comes back. They go, again, just chunk after chunk after chunk. They were dominating the ground with Montgomery and Gibbs, just dominating, gash after gash. There was a play in this game where Jared Goff had a 3rd and 12, checked into a run, and got the first down. That's how confident they were in that running attack. There's nothing more disrespectful than checking into a run play on 3rd and long situation when you know you need a first down and you're in the enemy's territory. Everything was coming up Detroit. And it felt like after that field goal for the Niners, if Detroit came down, you know, matched them with the field goal, or hell, got a touchdown, it might be night-night. But instead, gets to a 4th down, decision. Do you go for the field goal? Extend it back to a 3-point lead or not? Here's what Detroit did.
Well, here you go. That's why you do it. You only run on 3rd and 5 if you've already made up your mind you're going for it on 4th and 2.
Goff to throw it. Here comes pressure. Escapes. Fires over the middle, and it is incomplete. He got out of a sack but couldn't connect with Reynolds, and the 49ers get a big stop on D.
That was the game. Right there. That was the game. That was the turning point. The turnover on downs. And then, you know, you had the craziest of completions I think I've ever seen. Maybe I shouldn't say I think I've ever seen. You guys remember the Doug Baldwin catch in the Super Bowl? Obviously, that was a loss for the Seahawks. That might be the craziest, but this one, it might take the cake. As I'm fumbling through, there's a lot of sound to get to today, and we'll get to all of it, and we'll get to all of you, your calls, your text. Good morning to everyone on the YouTube chat. El Guero, Covfefe Coffee, I like that. EJ Gomez, Keeping the Faith, Kyle Kelly, Brandon Cadiz, shout out D's Nuts, Beat Bop Jones, Ron, Mick Mallow. Appreciate all y'all chiming in. 49ers heading back to the freaking Super Bowl 4 years later. And it's against a team they are very familiar with in said Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. And we'll have all these 2 weeks to break down that matchup. But today, you're just basking in the glow of the Niners getting back to the promised land. They are here. The conversation on Friday was, if Shanahan loses this game, can he win the big one? Can he even get back to the big one? That would have been 3 straight NFC Championship losses. 3 of them. But what does he do? Does he blink? No. He does not blink. Does he panic? No. He does not panic. Does Steve Wilkes panic? No. After getting gashed and gashed and gashed, they rallied behind their quarterback, behind their running back, behind Debo, Ayuk, Bosa, having a couple sacks, and then obviously a massive fumble by Gibbs. And it was all she wrote. When the Niners got back to a 24-17 game, it was over for Detroit. I knew it and you knew it, 49ers fans. They weren't winning that game. All their momentum, all their goodwill they built up was gone. And that's a testament to experience from top to bottom in an organization. Experience mattered yesterday. In both games, to be quite honest with you. Zay Flowers for the Ravens. I know we were all watching the game prior, unless you were partying in the tailgate at Levi's, in which case, you do you. Great weather, by the way. Perfect. It's nice. It was toasty. But Zay Flowers for the Ravens earlier in the day, you saw it right there. Losing composure, dumb taunting penalties. And if you want to get into what taunting in the playoffs, taunting in general is jump the shark in the NFL. I think it's all dumb. We're allowed to trash talk everywhere else in sports. We can't do it in the playoffs now when emotions are at an all-time high. I don't know. Dumb. But not the dumbest thing he did, because L'Jarius Sneed, the guy who he did taunt, defensive back for the Kansas City Chiefs, ends up punching out the goal line. Chiefs take over, and it was basically night-night after that. Inexperience versus experience. And that is what we were talking about all week long. Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Bosa, all these guys, George Kittle, they all have experience, whether it was a couple games last year with the squad, whether it's been years and years now with 2 straight NFC Championship losses and how painful that was. They leaned on their experience. And it got them through, and it got their momentum back, and ultimately, this was the play of the game.
Here's Purdy with a lot of time. Steps into one. Launching deep. Going for Brandon Ayuk. It is. Oh, he caught it off the ricochet. Penalty. Is he in? He's down to the 5. We'll see what the penalty is. What a play from Ayuk. We'll see if it stands.
There is no foul in the play. The catch was made. And the runner is down with the contact at the 4.5-yard line. First down, San Francisco.
It was unbelievable. Brandon Ayuk makes the catch of his life on what probably should have been an interception. They picked up the flag too, so they didn't call it. They were saying the defensive backs was making a play on the ball. Regardless, doesn't matter. We'll take that. We'll take all that momentum back, Dan Campbell and co. Thank you very much for going for it and having a turnover on downs. And another thing we talked about last week, whatever team is going to lose the turnover battle is going to lose the game. Happened in both games yesterday. Zay Flowers fumble, Lamar Jackson throwing to God knows who in the end zone, triple covered. That was the difference there. And then in the 49ers-Lions, 2 turnover on downs, 2 crucial ones. I played the first one. This is the second one. Another gamble that doesn't pay off. Got to catch the ball.
4th and 3. Goff, pressure, in trouble, throws on the run, incomplete. And the gamble on 4th down does not pay off.
Again, as a neutral observer, I didn't have a problem with Campbell going for it. The only thing that was really inexcusable for me was that timeout at the end of the game. What was that? That was all-time bonehead. Now you have to rely on an onside kick, which, spoiler alert, never occurs. I can't remember the last time an onside kick happened in the playoffs and was successful, let alone the regular season. Maybe in like a Falcons, I don't know, Jaguars game that I wasn't paying attention to. But we'll take that if we're the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. Hey, you know what? If he's going to look like the fool this time, that's fine for me. And here is Kyle Shanahan talking to him after the game if he was surprised by Campbell going for it.
Not really. I mean, I think that's how they've done it most of the year, and I think that's one of the reasons why they were here. You win a lot of games making some of those decisions, and then you make some decisions and you lose them. I mean, I don't think it always comes down to that. There's lots of plays that happen in the game, but I mean, that's the decision that we all have to make, and it doesn't surprise me because he's made a lot of those decisions throughout the year that have won them a lot of games also.
More from Shanahan on those big 4th down stops.
Oh, it was huge. I mean, both of them. I mean, to make it a 3-score game and us to be able to hold it to 2 scores, especially the way the game was going. I mean, I felt like we kind of blew it when we started out with the ball and we didn't get a touchdown. And we got 3 points. So for us to hold them there and them not to get any points, which you stop them on 4th down, really look at that almost the same as a turnover. So that was huge by us today. And I mean, you live and die with that stuff. It would have been really hard to deal with it if they moved the chains on that 4th and 2 also. So that's why everything comes down to certain plays, and what happens in those plays you got to live with.
So by my count, that's 3 turnovers, 2 turnovers on downs, 1 via fumble by Deshaun Gibson. Hell of a play there. They needed it desperately, and they got it. So that's 3 turnovers to 1. The Brock Purdy interception, which was a bad one. But again, you win the turnover battle in the playoffs, you will win. The cream always rises. Always. And you saw that yesterday in both games. 888-957-9570. I want to hear from Niners fans. Call or text the Comcast Business text line. It is a Monster Monday brought to you by First 5 California. Go ahead and visit first5california.com right now to learn 4 things that you could do to overcome toxic stress. And hell of a season from Detroit. This is going to sting, though. This is going to sting if you're a Lions fan. All that goodwill that Dan Campbell built up throughout the season that culminated in an NFC Championship appearance, I feel like most of that went out the window with that blown lead yesterday. That is a tough one to overcome. And Lions fans haven't been in this position. They don't know how heartbreaking it could be. They were happy to be there, and once they were there, they got the taste. They're like, "Oh man, are we actually going to go to? Are we going to go to Las Vegas? No, us really? We're up 17 points. We're driving again. We just held them to a field goal at the half. We can flip this whole thing and just dominate the second half too. Really? No, not really. You're the Lions. This is the Niners. Sorry. That's why I picked the Niners. Jared Goff and Dan Campbell weren't beating Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan. Sorry. Now, I didn't expect the Ravens to score only 10 points, so I had the Ravens in the Super Bowl as well, but it didn't happen. Was I shocked? No, because it's Patrick Mahomes. It's Andy Reid. It's the evil emperor. It's Darth Vader. Brock Purdy is Luke Skywalker, per Steve Young, Hall of Famer. And Kyle Shanahan is either Yoda or Obi-Wan, whoever you wanted to be. They are coming to destroy the Death Star. at the Death Star, actually, at Allegiant Stadium. So it all works out. Can they do it? Will they? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. There you go. We have a lot of references this morning. Most of them probably over your head, but that's all right. Good morning to all of you on the YouTube chat. Nicole Diaz, Bebop, Hamza. Wow, we're getting a lot of Lamar Jackson slander on the chat. Woo! I did say that during the game in the Morning Roast thread. I was like, oh, this is not going to be good offseason for Lamar Jackson. If he has any social media, I would just turn that off. Turn off all notifications on there. Was not a great day for John Harbaugh and the going to be two-time league MVP Lamar Jackson. And I see a lot of Niners fans in the chat. We got the real MVP. Our guy's moving on. And hey, again, regular season stat. And for Brock Purdy, listen, he's going to dominate a lot of the narrative the next 2 weeks because we know what's going to happen. It's going to be quarterback versus quarterback. Always has been, always will be when it's the Super Bowl. It was Jalen Hurts last year versus Patrick Mahomes. The year prior, it was the Rams versus Joe Burrow, and so on and so forth. We will always do that. Always. But before we get there, let's just isolate the game that Brock had yesterday. He was not good in that first half. That's just putting it bluntly. The Lions dominated the 49ers in the first half, and I was shocked. They were getting pressure on him. Aiden Hutchinson was flying all over the place. Anzalone was laying the wood. Hell, even when the Niners were laying wood on defense, their own players were getting hurt. I'm looking at Dre Greenlaw trying to take the soul out of Sam Laporta, rookie tight end who's having a hell of a season, who just popped up like it was nothing. And then you see woozy Dre Greenlaw, and it was ended up just being a stinger. But my God, even the Lions are the more physical team early on. They were getting like, at one point, was I seeing that right? They're getting like 6 yards before contact in the run game. It was unbelievable. Which is even crazier that they even started passing the ball when they could have just kept running it the entire time, I felt like. But credit to Steve Wilkes and the Niners defensive unit. They adjusted and they never looked back. And Steve Wilkes, that was the guy everyone wanted out at halftime. Time to fire Steve Wilkes. His team's been underachieving all year. They hunkered down big time. Big time in that second half to a tune of only 7 points allowed. And it was basically garbage time anyways at that point after that timeout from Dan Campbell. So, wow. That Brock Purdy scramble, I'm going to play it right here. That set up the 2-score lead was incredible. He had a couple of those. Starting out that drive, he was so slippery, getting past the pass rush, throwing a dime onto the sidelines. Was that Juszczyk? A little toe drag swag there. Shout out Nate Burleson, CBS Sports. Here's the call on Fox Sports.
It seems like one of the most critical downs of this game here for Detroit Lions defense, and Aaron Glenn needs an answer.
Third down, 4-man rush. Purdy in some trouble. Escapes, looking for the first down. He's got it and more. Brock Purdy with the legs inside the 30.
Second leading rusher for the 49ers. Brock Purdy's 5 carries, 48 yards. He outrushed Jahmyr Gibbs yesterday. Yeah, Brock Purdy outrushed Jahmyr Gibbs. Pretty wild. 20 carries, 90 yards for Christian McCaffrey. It wasn't his best game on the ground game, but then you look up at everything else he did. He had 132 total yards from scrimmage, 4 receptions, 42 yards of the passing game, 2 touchdowns, and that was an slightly underperforming Christian McCaffrey. How crazy is that? He's so damn gifted. It's unbelievable. And here is the running back talking about his quarterback, taking a lot of heat, and we're lucky to have him.
Man, I don't have enough good things to say about Brock. He's done since he's been here is play at an elite level, and everything starts with him. And we're lucky he's our quarterback. He takes a lot of heat for absolutely no reason. All he's done has been a great leader, been a great player, and I'm so proud of him and pumped up that I get another one with him this year.
888-957-9570. Good morning to everyone on the Comcast Biz text line. 415, is Amy Trask going to say there's only one great quarterback and there's Brock left? Well, it's true. I mean, if you're starting a football team tomorrow, I'm pretty sure everyone's taking Patrick Mahomes. But I get what you're saying, 415. For the first half, Amy Trask was looking right? Just like the first half last week. Everyone was saying, oh, did you have a point? Jordan Love, eh? But that's why you don't call games after the first half. That's why they play the game. 60 minutes. Just ask Kyle Shanahan. He knows better than everyone else. He's got the scars to prove it, both as a coordinator and a head coach now. And he will have a shot at redemption. The 49ers, can they get the monkey off their back, a la Steve Young so many years ago against the San Diego Chargers in the Super Bowl? It's been damn near 30 years. Has been, right? 30 years? Crazy. Can the 49ers finally hoist that Lombardi that they've desperately wanted and needed for so long? We're going to find out in 2 weeks. I'm damn excited. There's nothing like football and Championship Sunday. You could have your Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals. And by the way, no one cares about it because the Niners are in the Super Bowl. What an appetizer on Saturday freaking night at Chase Center. LeBron and Steph turning back the clock, double overtime. Both guys hitting shot after shot after shot. Oh, that was unbelievable. Ended with the Warriors' loss, but that was all we could have asked for heading into the Championship Sunday. Old man Curry and old man LeBron, again carrying the league in ratings, I'm sure, putting the league on their back. I was joking, this is a play-in tournament preview, but what an appetizer heading into the main course that is Ravens v. Chiefs and Lions v. Niners. It was tremendous. And what we like to say here on the pregame show, we're the appetizer for the main course that is the rest of the shows here. We're the chips and salsa. We're the spinach dip, jalapeno artichoke. We're the tapas. We're whatever. Whatever you need us to be, we are. Nachos. Ooh, I can go for some nachos right now. A little breakfast nachos action. Not mad at that. Morning roast, Steiny Goo, Willard Dibs, locked and loaded all day long right here on 95.7 The Game. Finishing up with the best of the game, Mark Grandy. Don't sleep on that. Don't get it twisted. 95.7 The Game starts and ends with an Italian. We got Spadoni and Grandy. All right? Speaking of Italians, Yannick Sinner, Australian Open winner over Daniil Medvedev. The Russian, Medvedev, blew a 2-0 lead. And Yannick Sinner didn't waver. It was the weekend of the comeback in a championship game. Started with the Italian in Down Under claiming his first title, and it's pretty wild. First guy outside of the big three, Rafa, Novak, and Federer, to win the Aussie Open since like 2014, something ridiculous like that. 888-957-9570. Your phone calls, your text, more of that coming up. My guy Fabian is out in San Jose. He's got to watch. He's got to watch his mouth here. I know Fabian. He gets a little excited. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. Sam Lubman, I want to shout him out real quick. Doesn't have to screen the calls for me. That is not in his job description. He just loves me so damn much that he does it. He's like, you know what? For Spadoni, I will do that. Also, I hate hearing that phone call ring, so I'm just going to answer it. But I appreciate you doing that, Sammy. Real quick before the break, let's go out to Fabian in San Jose. He wants to join in the conversation. What's going on, Fabian?
What's up, Spadoni?
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Super happy that we got this win, even though it was a tough one, but we got it. That's all that matters. Hey, I just wanted to shout out Raider fans because I went to downtown in San Jose last night, and I'm going to say there was a lot of Raider fans out there, man. So you guys you guys support a lot, and you do too, man. I'm always happy to hear you in the mornings on the way to work. It's always great, man. But, man, just happy we got another win. D-Will Samuel State Farm was great. Man, there's so much to talk about, but just let's go. Let's get this ring.
There you go. That's Fabian in San Jose, 888-957-9570. He's shouting out the Raider fans. Sure, none of them very happy with the current matchup, especially it being at Allegiant Stadium. So either Patrick Mahomes will get a third championship and the Kansas City Chiefs will get their fourth, which would be most in the AFC West among those squads. Broncos have 3, Raiders have 3, Chiefs have 3. Chiefs get that win. It would not only be in your home stadium, it would also put them above you in the hierarchy of Super Bowls in your own division. Gag me. And then you got the 49ers, your longtime crosstown rivals. That's still pretty raw there. So I think Raider fans, those of you living in the Bay, I don't know if you're rooting for the Chiefs or not. Doesn't matter. And Niner fans, they don't care. They're just glad you're causing you misery. Shout out Maroon 5. I am in misery. But you know what? This is a sexy matchup. And I'm going to tell you why on the other side. And we're not going to spend all time on it. We got a whole 2 weeks for Niners-Chiefs. But I'm going to tell you why it's a sexy matchup. And now it's not Mahomes, it's not Reed, something else. 888-957-9570. More of your calls, more of your texts. On a Victory Monday, 49ers are heading back to the Super Bowl on 95.7 The Game.
With heating bills as high as they are, proper weatherproofing is essential. If you're working with a client to upgrade or build a new...
a newsletter covering ongoing activities and historical presentations. Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, no! Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Oh, he was standing up yesterday. Marshall Mathers flipping the birds, the double birds at Niner fans. He was feeling it after that first half. Till he wasn't. He was gone. You know, it's a lot like his career. That first half has been kind of all time. It's incredible. Back half, third and fourth quarters. Ugh. What was that, recovery? I didn't mind recovery. That was like when I was in high school, though, so maybe it like reminds me of, you know, simpler times. I didn't mind. It wasn't his best. Wasn't his worst, though. But, come on. Come on. Maybe all M&M rejoins today. Is that too mean? Nah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it a buck. 888-957-9570. A lot of Purdy in the chat. And listen, he's the quarterback. He's going to get all the praise or all the blame regardless. I thought he showed tremendous poise. I thought he showed tremendous grit. I thought he didn't get too down on himself. And that's all I want from my quarterback in a big game. He scrambled when he needed to scramble, and that could be the key against Kansas City. Although the greatest scrambler we've seen in quite some time in Lamar Jackson did a couple times. God, that Chiefs defense, man. Physical. Lions were physical yesterday, too, in that first half. They were. Till they weren't. Till the 49ers punched back and Detroit couldn't counter. 888-957-9570. Number to call or text. James is out in San Mateo and wants to join on the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. What's going on, James?
Hey, how you doing? Hey, I just want to point out, I know hindsight is 20/20, but both Green Bay and Detroit dropped picks that in hindsight would have changed the game. Both Green Bay and Detroit chose to go for it on fourth down. Green Bay with a chip shot from like the 15, went for it on fourth and didn't get it. Detroit could have kicked tried it to attempt like a 48-yarder, but went for it. And I'm just pointing that out. I don't think Sneed's a ball hawk. I don't think Sneed is going to drop picks if they're thrown to him. And I don't think Andy Reid is going to be going for it on fourth. He's going to take the points. So the Niners better get their crap straight because those mistakes I don't see happening with Kansas City.
That's James in San Mateo. Appreciate it, James. 888-957-9570. Look, we have 2 weeks to preview Kansas City. We know all about them. They are the evil empire. They are the Death Star. It is Darth Vader versus the Emperor. Brock Purdy is Luke Skywalker, and Kyle Shanahan is a combination of Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And we all know how it ended for them. You know, the Empire struck back a couple years ago. They beat you in the Super Bowl. They did. But Jimmy Garoppolo was more of a Han Solo, and he got frozen in carbonite, and now he's pushed to the side, all right? See ya, Jimmy. Although there's so many layers to this. Jimmy G, obviously quarterback for the Raiders this past year. They're playing at Allegiant. There's just, the season started there in the preseason for the 49ers. Jake Moody was probably his shakiest in that preseason game. Trey Lance, that was the game we all knew he wasn't the guy. So a lot of different layers here. And then obviously, I don't think the Chiefs have ever lost at Allegiant. I think they're like, however long they've been playing, 3-0 now. 4-0, I don't even know how many years it's been. Man. Chiefs-Niners, round 2. Let's go. But to James's point, there were opportunities there for the Packers and the Lions. But again, experience matters. And LaFleur, although he is experienced in the playoffs, Shanahan's had his number 3 times now. Dan Campbell, this is his first time. And again, I had no problem with going for it if that's been your MO all year. And I understand, take the points, make a 3-score game. Hindsight, whatever. It was that final sequence at the end of the game where you take a timeout, which basically just loses you the game. And then you're relying on an onside kick, which never happens. Just, that is inexcusable. At the very least, you make the Niners try to get a first down. At the very least, that's what you got to do. So going into the playoffs, I was taking Kyle Shanahan over every other coach in the NFC. Am I taking him in the Super Bowl against Andy Reid? That's a 2-week tease. Find out next Friday when I give my official pick. How about that? 888-957-9570. I'm going naked right here on the line. Who am I talking to right now on the pregame show? Who is this?
Hey, this is Raj from New Providence, New Jersey.
Hey, what's up, Raj? How you doing, man? Jersey, let's go. My mom's from Jersey.
Oh, really? What part?
Kearney, New Jersey. Near like Harrison?
Yeah, definitely know that place. Yep.
Nice.
So, hey, listen, just a couple thoughts about the game. First of all, we got to be really thankful that we went up against, first of all, LaFleur and the Packers, who, trotted out a kicker who was very unreliable in the divisional round, missing that big field goal late. And then, obviously yesterday, Dan Campbell, going for a run play there at the goal line, with the 2-minute warning. That was a gift to us that they had to use that timeout. Because, you might have gotten into overtime if they didn't do that. So I'm really thankful that we went up against those two coaches. That's not going to be the case in the Super Bowl against an all-time great Andy Reid. The way I look at this game coming up, it's going to be one of those games where on offense, we got to almost think as if our drives end with a kick, it's a good thing. We just can't turn the ball over. I think that would play right into the Chiefs' hands. And this isn't like the Chiefs team from 4 years ago. I don't like their down-the-field passing game. They don't have Tyreek Hill. So if we can just get our front seven to at least stick them, maybe, get them to settle for field goals, I think we have a shot. But it's going to be tough. We really need Purdy to play his best game ever if we're going to pull this off. But just so thankful we made it. Big comeback last night. And looking forward to your coverage the next 2 weeks, all right?
Appreciate you, Josh. That's Josh out in Jersey. 888-957-9570. We're coast to coast here on the pregame show. We're international, baby. We got my guy Vic out in Holland chimes in. My guy Morali out in India. Let's go. We got some Aussie listeners. We've gotten Mexico, Canada, everywhere. We're global, baby. Not just on the pregame show, 95.7 The Game. And you don't want to go anywhere else the next 2 weeks for your 49ers coverage. No. Nobody knows this team and the ins and outs of football like 95.7 The Game. No one. Not even close. And again, we'll have 2 weeks to preview Chiefs, Niners. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are formidable. And by the way, Patrick Mahomes, if he does indeed win this one, I don't even care if he does. I can't believe what I'm saying. And maybe this is blasphemy. He's the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. He is. I'm just going to say it. I've been a Brady guy for a very long time. I know people are saying, how could you be a Raider fan and be a Tom Brady guy? Well, first off, I don't blame Tom Brady. He didn't call the call in the Tuck Rule game. That was Walt Coleman. #1 fraud here in the Bay Area history. Worst call ever. Anyways, Tom's had the greatest career of all time. No doubt. He's had 7 rings. What Patrick Mahomes is doing right now with Travis Kelce and a bag of chips on offense, do you realize what he just did? He took out the top 3 teams in the AFC. One at home in freezing temperatures, another in freezing temperatures in Buffalo against Josh Allen, and then against the best defense and offense in the NFL that got back Mark Andrews and the Baltimore Ravens. On the road. So for everyone saying, oh, he's got to play on the road now, please. Patrick Mahomes could be playing in Siberia against a couple of bears and get the win. That is who the Niners are going to be playing in a couple weeks. And are the Niners afraid of that? No. Because they got Luke Skywalker. They got Chewbacca, a.k.a. George Kittle. They got Christian McCaffrey. Who's McCaffrey in Star Wars? Who's he going to be? Give me the comp, 888-957-9570. We're up against it. One more break before tossing it off to the morning roast. One more segment. 49ers heading back to the Super Bowl. 49ers 34, Lions 31 on 95.7 The Game.
Get the appliances you need right away at Lowe's.
DJ horn's going to be going all day long, baby. Thank you, Tim Roy. Voice of the Golden State Warriors again. It's going to be slept on. No one's going to bring it up today. I will. Saturday night at Chase Center was unbelievable. Were you at that game, Sam? Thumbs up. That might be one of the greatest regular season games of all time. Was it not? You don't have to. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it was.
Oh, turn on your mic. You're okay.
Fun show to watch.
Turn on your mic. You're almost there.
There we go. Wrong one. You saw the producer mic all the time. No, it was an incredibly fun game to watch. Steph and LeBron trading shots like that, going in the double OT. It was, honestly, I wanted a third overtime. I was like, you know what? Let's go. Two oldest teams in the league. Just keep giving me more basketball now. I don't want to go home.
I thought for sure LeBron was missing one of them. So it was like 3 overtime. And I had a tweet out. And by the way, you can follow me on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, @Spadoni_Joe. I sent out.
Lakers.
I was like, This is bordering on elder abuse going to double overtime with these squads. These guys, and it's totally a play-in tournament. Both these teams aren't doing jack when it comes to playoff time.
It was a great preview for that 9-10 game in the play-in.
Seriously, that's exactly what it's going to be. But for one night, Steph and LeBron were kings of the NBA again. All was right in the world, and all is right in the world when it comes to the NFL because we got the 2 best teams in the NFL playing. We do.
Possibly.
No, I'm not going to say possibly, Kyle. The 49ers were the best team. They were the number 1 seed in the NFC. In the AFC, you can talk about your Ravens. You can talk about your Bills. You can talk about your Dolphins. CJ Stroud. Hell, the Browns were having a good year. When push comes to shove, though, in your heart of hearts, if you had money on any of these games, you weren't betting against Patrick Mahomes. And if you were, you are a fool. You do not bet against that man. You don't. He's only lost to 2 quarterbacks in the playoffs. 2. Tom Brady twice. 1 with the Patriots, 1 with Tampa. And Joe Burrow. And will Brock Purdy, as I see highlights on ESPN right now of him, will Brock Purdy join those 2? Brady, Burrow, Purdy. Makes sense, right? Right? I can't wait. It's going to be unbelievable. And it's in Vegas. Oh, we're going to be doing numbers here on the pregame show on 95.7 The Game. Search 95.7 The Game. Like, subscribe. We're streaming all day long on Twitch, on YouTube, 5 a.m. through 7 p.m. Who else is doing that? Who else? Starting at 5 a.m. Tell you who. Nobody. Hey, Brock Purdy. Talk about that clutch catch by Ayuk.
Yeah, I mean, obviously to have an explosive play like that was huge in that moment. We needed it to get down the field pretty quick, and we were still down, I think, 2 touchdowns. So in that moment, it was like, all right, here's a shot, here's an opportunity for BA. It was a single high, safety, didn't get back or anything. He sort of stayed flat-footed, and in our offense, in that play, it's like, all right, you can expect your receiver to get on top and trust him. And so the corner did a good job with actually staying on top and then tipped it up. BA did a great job with just tracking the ball all the way and then making a huge play for us, man. So he's a baller. That was clutch on his part.
888-957-9570. Good morning to the Comcast Biz text line. 707, your Eminem take is ice cold. He had great verses and albums in the second half. I'm looking at nice guy Stephen Langford, formerly of the pregame show. I thought my first half Eminem take was great. That game simulated Eminem's career thus far. First 2 quarters, it's been great. Marshall Mathers LP, come on. Third and fourth, haven't been the best. That's okay. Eminem's an all-timer. Hey, if you're on the YouTube show, chat, whatever, you see the hue of my skin, I'm all in on the white rappers, all right? Eminem is like a god to me as a child. Love me, Eminem. Had my hair bleached when I was a child because of him. Mom hated him. Had to ask my older brothers to get all the CDs because he thought Mama Spadoni, Marianne, God love you, thought he was a horrible person. And yesterday, a lot of Niners fans did too. He's flipping the bird. But that's what you like. Like, again, the taunting penalty for Zay Flowers yesterday, I get it. It was letter of the law. Can we not have those being called in the playoffs, though, when emotions are sky high? Now, the fumble was doubly egregious because not only did you taunt the guy that ended up forcing the fumble, and then he recovers it, and that was basically night-night for your team, that just added major insult to injury. It really did. But I'm going to stand by my Eminem take. And I came back, I think he was featured on that song forever, right? There you go. More from the quarterback, Brock Purdy, on if they could feel the momentum shift.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely feel it. Like, everybody knew we were all trying to get back into it, and so when the defense got a stop like that, obviously the stadium erupted, and then everyone on offense, when we were jogging out there, we were like, all right, it's our time. You know, this is the momentum that we have been looking for. Our team created that as a whole, and so as an offense, like, we got to do our part and pick up the defense after they just got that stop. So we all felt it.
888-957-9570. Valley Oak, very upset I had a 1-minute tangent on the Warriors-Lakers on Saturday night. That's fine. Don't worry, Valley Oak. I'm sure no one else will bring it up all day long. I just wanted to give that game the respect that it deserves. It was incredible. Is it on any par with going to the Super Bowl? No, it's not. Totally different. Doesn't mean we can't appreciate both. And appreciate what the Niners are doing right now, because it's special. It's very difficult. Dan Campbell spoke after the game that it's going to be twice as hard for his team to get back to this point. And he's right. It's always harder. This is a third straight NFC Championship game for Kyle Shanahan. You did have two different quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo a couple years ago at SoFi Stadium, and it was night-night, see you later. Last year with Brock Purdy, he gets knocked out early, night-night. This year was different. They did get punched in the mouth, but they punched back. They rallied and won. What's it going to take to beat the Chiefs? It's going to take all of that and then some. Because they haven't played a defense as physical and as great as Kansas City's in these playoffs. They haven't played a quarterback to that level. They haven't played a head coach to that level. But you know what? The 49ers are just as experienced. All that's missing is the trophy. And that's a big, big part of it. Because you don't get the benefit of the doubt unless you have that Lombardi. The Chiefs are getting that. By the way, what's the line at? It opened at, 2.5 for San Francisco, I believe. Let me go on DraftKings right now. Look at the NFL odds. Pulling that up. Now it's down to 1 point. Niners start out Niners minus 2.5. It's down to 1 point. You can get it. It's going to be a pick 'em before you know it. A lot of money coming in on KC. We'll see. We shall see. I need 2 weeks to digest, all the storylines, all the matchups. I gotta dive into the film. You guys know me. I'm an all-22 guy. Got to be looking at, what's going on with my guy Tooney, all-pro guard for the Chiefs. He's got that pectoral strain. I don't know. One interesting key to this, though, for the Chiefs, they do a lot of penalties. And they've been hanging on for dear life in a lot of these. 49ers get a lead. I know it's Patrick Mahomes on the other side. If they get a lead and they can build on it, I'm not so sure the Chiefs' offense is as great as we think it is in getting quick scores. They're a lot like the Patriots, with Tom Brady. A lot of dinking and dunking. You have Gronk there, which is Kelsey in this case. You got your Edelmans, you got your slot guys, Rashee Rice, and you got a power back in Isaiah Pacheco. All those years, the Patriots had a plethora of running backs. So it's kind of been more Patriots, if anything, for this Chiefs offense. It's not the explosion we're used to with Tyreek Hill, amongst others. Juxtapose out the 49ers, they are explosive. We saw that yesterday. And that's a credit to the quarterback, and to Christian McCaffrey, and to Brandon Ayuk, and to Deebo freaking Samuel. You kidding me? Deebo setting the tone with his physicality on those drives out of the half. He's been unbelievable. Shoulder injury and all. Talked after the game why that win was so emotional for him.
I mean, this is my 5th year and been to 1 Super Bowl, and that was my rookie year. And these past couple of years, we kind of fell short at, the NFC Championship. What a coincidence. Last year, we lose Brock. But the year before that, we just lose the game. And, you know, we down 17 at half, and it's just like whatever it is they're going to take for us to get this win, and we went out there and did it.
They went out there and did the damn thing. Debo, were you worried at halftime?
I don't think it was any concern. We just knew what we had to go out here and do the second half, and that was to score points, and defense had to get off the field and, you know, starting the third quarter off with, 3 points, and then Gip made a big play and a fumble. We go down and score, and then it's just a chain of events.
Chain of events indeed. And it all started with this decision by Dan Campbell.
Well, here you go. That's why you do it. You only run on 3rd and 5. If you've already made up your mind, you're going for it on 4th and 2.
Goff to throw. Here comes pressure. Escapes. Fires over the middle, and it is incomplete. He got out of a sack but couldn't connect with Reynolds, and the 49ers get a big stop on D.
That was the game. That was the game. It didn't work out. They gambled, and they crapped out. And now the 49ers are advancing to Vegas. Lions are going back to Detroit. But coming up next, it's the Morning Roast. Bonta Hill, Joe Shasky. Niners heading back to the Super Bowl against the Kansas City freaking Chiefs. How about that? Have a good day, everybody.
You're listening to